Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome. This is an amazing opportunity to talk to Atlanta international figures. And here we are starting our Coffee with Legends from the Word to the A. My name is Lucas Martins, and I am your host here. This is an initiative led by the City of Atlanta Mayor's Office of International Affairs. And here, we're going to have a lot of fun because we're going to have international sports figures from all over the world talking a little bit about their experiences in Atlanta, Atlanta's role in their careers, and of course, some of their memories here in the capital of the state of Georgia. And here I have a special guest. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to read her bio just to make sure I'm not going to miss anything. She's the Haiti's first female Olympic swimmer. She was born in Montreal, Canada, and raised in Atlanta by her Haitian parents. She swam the 50-meter freestyle at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. She has traveled to 20 plus countries and actively vlogs her adventures on the undercurrent. Naomy Grand'Pierre is the team captain for the Haiti's national swim team. Welcome, Naomy. I just want to make sure that I said your last name in the right way.
Yes, no, that was perfect. Naomy Grand'Pierre in French, Naomy Grand'Pierre in English.
That's fantastic. So welcome to the show. Thank you for accepting our invitation. So my first question for you will be the same for everybody who will be with us in the show. So of course that I've just read your bio, so we know a little bit, but I would like to learn that from you. What is your connection to the city of Atlanta?
Yeah, so although I was born in Montreal, Canada, about a year after I was born, my parents and I immigrated to the United States, and Atlanta is where my parents decided to call home. So I've grown up here. I went to school here, so elementary, middle school, high school. I was gone in Chicago for about 4 years for university, but I've come back because although I've traveled a lot and although I do connect with multiple cultures, I do call Atlanta home, and I love the city so much.
So what is your favorite spot in the city?
Yes, I'm always in the Old Fourth Ward or the area near Ponce City Market. I'm always there. I also love Little Five Points. It's a great place to connect with other artists and creatives. And my favorite coffee shop is Dancing Goats right next to Ponce City Market. It's like my favorite hangout spot.
Oh yeah, I know where it is, and I love it as well. So,
So nice.
another question for you. So you were born in Canada, you were raised in Atlanta, Georgia, but you compete for Haiti.
Yes.
So my question is, why not Canada? Why not the United States? And why Haiti?
Yes, it was actually a very difficult identity crisis for me for a really long time. There's actually a term for it now. It's called third cultured kid. So you just grow up with three different cultures. And so you kind of are like, who am I? Where do I belong? Which group can I call mine? So I remember for a good like 3 or 4 years, I was grappling with that. Am I American? Am I Canadian? Am I Haitian? And I was swimming in the United States, and the idea of competing at the Olympic Games came into my mind when I was about 10 years old. So then the question came, like, which country do I want to compete for? And ultimately I decided Haiti because I think my spirit resonates with my Haitian identity the most. It's the culture that my parents brought to me. It's the way I grew up the entire time. And a lot of my family is still in Haiti. So even though there are other cultures that kind of have shaped and influenced who I am, Haitian is always the number one identity. And then I wanted to also make a huge difference. And there wasn't a swim team in Haiti at the time. And because I was privileged to live in the United States and just take advantage of the fact that there are pools everywhere, I really wanted to bring that back to my home country. And that was how I was able to do that.
So in order to get more details on that, so how did you end up in Atlanta? Because your parents, they could be in Chicago, for example, or in New York
Right.
City, but they decided to live in Atlanta, Georgia, and you were raised here. So why Atlanta?
Yeah, so my parents were born, both of them were born in Haiti. They went to university in Montreal, which is where they met. But my dad actually kind of grew up in a lot of different places, and he spent a good portion of his childhood in Atlanta, Georgia. So he really had some positive memories there. And he decided like he wanted to go after that American dream and just have more opportunities to grow his business and be an entrepreneur. And he decided that Atlanta was the best place to do that. It was an up and coming city, and the winters are not as bad as the ones in Montreal. So that was like a big factor in the decision as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you start swimming? Was it in Atlanta?
Yes, so it was in Atlanta, and it's actually funny because I swam my entire career with the City of Atlanta Dolphins. So it was directly affiliated with the city, and it's been such an amazing experience. It was a very diverse club that trained right in the heart of downtown. Unfortunately, the pool is no longer open, but it was at the downtown Martin Luther King Center. So it was really, really cool. But we decided to get into swimming because my mom, unfortunately, has some cousins who drowned because they didn't know how to swim. So after I went to a pool party, my mom saw me struggling in the water and was like, this is not happening to any of my kids. So she sent me and my 4 siblings to the YMCA we were living close to at the time in downtown. And that's how we got introduced to the City of Atlanta Dolphins. And we just kind of continued our careers. And my siblings are still swimming with the CAD Dolphins to this day.
And Naomi, I always appreciate asking this question because how did you realize that you were good on that? Because I learned how to swim as well, but I'm not competing because
Right.
I'm not so good. But when did you realize, oh, I can be an athlete. I can go to Rio de Janeiro and join the Olympics. How did you realize that you were so good?
Yeah, so I think I figured out pretty early on that I was athletic. My first sport was tennis, but I was doing tennis, I was doing ballet, and I was doing swimming. And I loved all of them. But what actually led me in that direction is when I watched the 2008 Olympic Games. I kind of just made a mental decision. I was like, this is what I want to do. I know I have the talent to get to where I want to be. And so I just decided that I wanted to go to the Olympic Games. So I stopped tennis, I stopped ballet, I stopped everything. And I started focusing on just getting better in swimming. And swimming, it's actually really cool because you get to figure out how to make goals and achieve them because it's all time based. So you're like, okay, this is the qualifying time. This is where my time is now. This is what I need to do in order to get there. So it was very, very logical actually, but it was just really a mental decision. And then I just chased after that dream.
Fantastic. And tell me a little bit about your experience in Rio because you are Haiti's first female Olympic swimmer. So I wonder how was for you when the country realized that their first female swimming was going to Rio. So how was that for you?
Yeah, it was very emotional. The whole process was an emotional roller coaster just because the whole accomplishment had never been done before. So I was definitely the guinea pig. And it was interesting also going through the whole qualification process for Haiti in the United States. So I know the process for Americans to get to the Olympic Games. So like that was kind of there, but it was nothing like that for Haiti. So we were kind of like trial and error. And like one day they would say I qualified, and then the other day it was like, actually, never mind. So it was like, it's a lot to kind of deal with. But I remember when I finally learned that I qualified, it was 3 weeks before the Olympic Games. And my biggest emotion was relief. Just like I had sacrificed so much. It was so uncertain. I had no idea what I was doing. And it ended up working out. And it was amazing. And I think it was just interesting for everyone in Haiti to understand what was going on too, just because we were introducing a whole new sport to the country. And then in the same way, like I'm the first female swimmer to ever do it, but I'm coming from the United States. So it was a huge conversation, but it's actually been so progressive now because we're able to bring the diaspora and the island of Haiti together and kind of revolutionize sports and athletics in Haiti. So it's been a really beautiful thing to see.
And tell me a little bit about the impact of your accomplishment in your country. So, did you have the chance to learn that we got more children swimming in Haiti, or being more interested in this
Yes.
kind of sport?
Yeah, so 100%. It made a huge impact. One, in the sports world in Haiti, it's really male dominated. So it was a big deal that I, as a female, had such a big platform. And then also in the media, Haiti is always perceived in a very negative light, unfortunately. So I was able to kind of spin the story, and it was a very, very positive story around me and bringing swimming to Haiti with everyone that kind of helped me out. And now, like 5 years later or 4 years later, swimming is a huge conversation in the country. We're trying to develop infrastructure so we can have some standardized pools so that the athletes that are now interested in pursuing a career in swimming have the resources and access to everything they need so they can succeed too. So it's still an ongoing story and it's still evolving, but it's been great.
It is good you mentioned that, because it's going to be the theme for my next question. Because if you go online and if you Google your name, you're gonna see that you are not only an excellent swimmer, but you are an activist as well.
Yes.
So you are fighting for minorities in order to make sure that they will have access to pools, for example. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about your activism.
Yeah, it kind of goes in a lot of different ways. My heart is with Haiti, so my activism, the priorities will always be about Haiti. So how I'm able to incorporate swimming into that is just making sure that everyone in Haiti has the same access and privileges that are in the United States. And right now there's a huge discrepancy. So I was able to reach the level of success I did because my parents chose to come to the United States. What I'd like to see in the future is Haiti having the infrastructure and the resources so that the youth can also dream and accomplish their dreams and have access to international competitions and representing the Haitian flag. So I'd love to see that. And I'm actually an athlete representative for the UANA committee, which is an international organization for swimming. And my goal is to really make sure that the athlete voice is heard, particularly in African and Caribbean countries, where right now swimming is not as big of a deal, but we just want to make sure that the playing field is equaled out.
And I like when you talk about your activism, because you were raised in a city deeply connected to the civil rights movement.
Yes.
Dr. Martin Luther King was born here, and recently Representative John Lewis passed away. He was representing a district located in the city of Atlanta. So I would like to know from you how does this environment have an impact on you regarding the history of Atlanta?
Yeah, everything about Atlanta is so inspiring, and I think you're able to see success stories, especially Black success stories, everywhere. So even like where I trained for the majority of my swimming career, it was right in the heart of downtown. It was the Martin Luther King Natatorium, literally 1 block away from Martin Luther King's house. So I was always around that area. I go to church really close to Martin Luther King's house as well. And so being on like a predominantly Black swim team and knowing the history, and even like recently, so I'm back in Atlanta now, so I've been able to go to a lot of Black Lives Matter protests. That's really important to me. And even like driving through the highway and seeing Tyler Perry's studios, that's super exciting. So there are just so many examples of Black success and excellent people. So it just inspires me to be the best person and the best role model as well. And the fact that I can kind of extend my influence not only in Atlanta, in the United States, but also in Haiti and in Canada, it's awesome.
So I would have a question. regarding your experience in the Olympics, because I don't remember that I had the opportunity to talk to somebody who was there, as an athlete.
Yeah.
So how was the experience? Because I saw a picture of you on Instagram that you were at Maracanã Stadium
Mm-hmm.
in the opening ceremony. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, that's
How
correct.
how was it?
So I think the opening ceremonies was probably one of my favorite experiences. It was incredible. One, the stadium itself is massive, and I don't think I've ever been in a stadium so big. And it was completely full of people. And then all the athletes are in the center of the stadium. So it's really cool after the procession of all the countries, all the athletes get to stay in the middle of the stadium, which actually you don't get to see on TV. So it's only if you're there that you get to like kind of see what happens. So while you're waiting for all the countries to make it all the way around, you get to go and interact with all the other athletes from the countries. So you get to like take pictures with everybody, try and find like the famous athletes, comment on each other's outfits and traditional attire. So it was really fun. And I think one of the biggest things I loved is how much love Brazilians have for Haitians. I really appreciated that. So I know when we were walking down the stadium, everyone was like, Haiti, Haiti. And I just really felt loved and supported by the people in Brazil. And that was just a really, really emotional experience.
Were you able to connect with any famous athlete?
Yeah, I was able to meet Usain Bolt, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps, a lot of different people. It was just like really surreal. And another favorite part of the Olympic Games was the cafeteria, actually, because at the end of the day, everyone has to get food. So whether it's the US basketball team or Gabby Douglas and everyone else on the American gymnastics team, everyone has to walk through. So that was a great place to actually meet other people, or like after winning a gold medal, like you literally come into the cafeteria to eat. So everyone was kind of commenting and there was a lot of like gossip, but it was really cool. It was a great place to meet people.
Who is your inspiration in your sport?
Yeah, definitely Simone Manuel. She has pioneered and revolutionized so many stereotypes. And so she's definitely broken a lot of barriers. I will also say Leah Neal. She was the first Black swimmer that I was introduced to after Marietta. And so they kind of served as huge role models for me and inspired me to become a role model in my country, because I kind of felt lucky. I was like, because I'm in the United States, I can kind of mooch on to the American athletes. So Simone Manuel, Michael Phelps, Leah Neal. But in Haiti, there are no like role models in swimming yet. So I was like, I want to learn from them so I can make sure that I'm doing the best that I can as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, as we are about to finish our conversation, it was so fast, but we still have time for a couple of questions. So, regarding your future, I know you are so young, and you still have a lot of Olympics to participate. And in terms of your career as an athlete and your career as an activist, what do you have for your future? Tell me a little bit about your plans, for example.
Yes. So I actually transitioned outside of being an athlete. So I think right now I'm more so taking on more leadership positions in terms of shaping environments. So again, like I mentioned, the UANA committee, I get to kind of help shape the athlete experience on an international level. Also being the team captain for Natation Haiti, making sure that the next generation of Haitian swimmers are given all the resources they need so they can go out onto the international competitions and bring back some medals, because we have some incredibly talented athletes that are very excited to represent the Haitian flag. And then even outside of swimming, I'm just here to showcase Haitian excellence. So on all of my social media pages, whenever I'm in Haiti, you'll see me posting the best of the best, trying to change people's perceptions and just influence in a very positive way. So like you said, there are a lot of Olympic Games to come, and I think it's a great opportunity to showcase Haitian excellence, both as an athlete and just as an influencer. And it's just exciting to bring all those worlds together.
And we know you have been vlogging your experience as an athlete. So could you tell us a little bit more about it? So are
Yeah.
you still posting, or did you stop?
So I took a little break just because vlogging takes a lot of work, but I am looking forward to start traveling again once this pandemic is a little bit over and things are normalized. But that's another thing. I love vlogging and sharing my experiences, not only in Haiti, but in the other countries and cultures that I get to experience, just so other people can see what in the world exists and inspire them to kind of chase after their dreams, because swimming is a huge reason as to why I've gotten to go to 20 plus countries. It's because I sacrificed and I got to the level that I did. And so I want to encourage especially young people to kind of go after their dreams, and there are a lot of creative ways to make that possible.
And how can we get access to your vlog?
Yes, so if you go to my website, naomygrandpierre.com, there's actually just like a tab, you can click on it, and that link is actually probably the easiest way to do it is just go onto my Instagram, NaomyHGP, and everything you need is there. So the link is there, and then it'll take you straight to my YouTube page.
Great, sounds great. So before we finish, I have a challenge for you. Actually, it's not a challenge because for you it's going to be pretty easy.
Okay.
But for me, it's going to be hard because probably I'm not going to understand a lot from what you're about to say. But I'm pretty sure that we have a fantastic audience from Haiti right now. They are watching you. Yes. They want to hear from you. So could you share a message to our audience from Haiti? I know that your first language is French, right?
My first language is French, yes, but I can do it in French and in Creole if you want.
Let's start with French.
Sure.
And then you can speak. What is the other one?
Creole.
Creole.
Yes.
So let's do both.
Okay, cool. I'm actually going to start with Creole. Donc, m'a commencé par phrase, moi toujours répéter, c'est ensemble, n'a marché prayon. Donc, moi, qu'est-ce que si tout le monde met tête nous ensemble, nous qu'à réaliser rêve et porter drapeau haïtien à notre niveau. Donc, moi espérer que nous qu'à supporter tout le monde qui a essayé de représenter Haïti dans niveau international et ensemble, n'a marché prayon. So that was in Creole, and I can say something in French. Donc, moi, je m'appelle Naomy Grand'Pierre et je suis très heureuse que j'ai pu partager ce message avec vous tous. Je veux vous encourager à chasser vos rêves parce que ce que vous pensez, ça peut devenir votre réalité. Donc, pense positive et continue sur le chemin que vous choisissez.
That was great, Naomy. I just want to make sure that I'm going to understand everything you said. So could you restate that in English?
Yeah, so in Creole, I said, there's a phrase I always repeat, which is ensemble n'a marché prayon, which basically means together we'll be able to like defeat them or go after them. That's like a very rough translation. So I was saying, if we put all our heads together and support the people that are trying to raise the Haitian flag to the highest level, we'll be able to accomplish that. So, and then I repeated the phrase at the end. And then in French, I just said that my name is Naomi. I was super happy to be a part of the show, and I wanted to encourage people to have positive thinking and to chase after their dreams and follow whatever path that they are on, because it will lead them to whatever it is that they choose to accomplish.
Thank you, Naomy Grand'Pierre, for participating, for joining us for the Coffee with Legends. It was a pleasure for me to have a distinguished guest with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being an inspiration for us, for this new generation of swimmers.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate this opportunity. It's really an honor to be invited to such a cool show like this and to represent Atlanta and Haiti at the same time. So it was awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Good luck, and we'll stay in touch.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.